How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about the Gilroy, California Garlic Festival shooting that has taken the lives of 3 people and has injured 12 more. Of those who are now passed away, you have 2 small children under the age of 10 and an adult male in his 20s. Now, before we even get into the video, I just want to say rest in peace to all those who have passed away. Get well soon to the 12 people who are injured but are not deceased. And my prayers go out to the families of all those who have been affected by this particular tragedy. Now, let's start from the very beginning of this whole situation. The shooter was 19 years old from a particular area. He was shot and killed right there on the scene, so he's dead. He is of no threat anymore. There's not going to be any kind of investigation as far as trying to get him locked up because he's dead. Now, he was known to the particular area of Gilroy. His family was entrenched into the community. Now, I don't know why he did what he did, but the media are already in overtime and overdrive trying to spin a narrative about why he may have done what he did. They're trying to say he was radicalized, he was a white supremacist, is that and the third. They're bringing up gun control and the issue of legality versus illegality or whatever. Now, a couple of things here about the white supremacy. They're talking about his Instagram, which is now deleted. But on his Instagram page, he was posting different things. And one thing he did before the shooting was post about a book called Might is Right. Now, the media are saying this is a white supremacist book. And they're trying to prove it by saying it has anti-Christian and anti-society anarchist points of view. Now, I'm not a rocket scientist over here. I'm not a Rhodes Scholar, but anti-Christian, anti-society, to me, that seems like more along the lines of Antifa. Now, I'm not saying that he was aligned with Antifa or whatever the case may be, but that seems to be more the direction that he was headed, according to a social media post. If you're going to draw any kind of conclusion, that would be where you head right now, although it's not conclusive in my mind. Now, white supremacy, how can that be possible when this guy, according to his own social media, was Iranian and white? Well, Iranian and Italian. How does it make any sense? How can you be an Iranian Italian? Like your mom is Iranian, your dad is Italian. How can you be that and be white supremacist? Now, from what I know about white supremacy, any kind of official documents you may read, the general consensus is about white people having their white race be preserved and ethno states and not including anybody of any kind of mixed heritage. They want you to have pure lineage. That's kind of the main thing. Blonde hair, blue eye, or whatever the case may be. European, not Iranian. You know, that's Persia. You looking more like the Indian subcontinent. That's not white. So I don't see how you can be mixed Iranian and white, or Italian really, which is also kind of iffy about being white, and be a white supremacist. It doesn't make any sense. It'll almost be the equivalent of Barack Obama being a white supremacist. Okay, his mother is white, his father is black. In this case, if I'm not mistaken, the boy's or the man's father was white and his mother was Iranian. So I just don't see that from that particular point of view. It doesn't make any sense. Like I said, if you want to draw a conclusion, it appears to be more like Antifa, but I digress. They're talking about the guns. They say he bought the semi-automatic assault rifle from Nevada and brought it into California. I mean, are we going to just ban anything semi-automatic? That'd be pretty much all the guns on the market. Okay. I keep hearing this language, semi-automatic, semi-automatic, semi-automatic. All that it means is you're not loading the ammunition manually, like on a revolver or a flintlock pistol, okay? And nobody has fully autos for the most part legally. I mean, try buying one of those legally, you'd be spending an arm and a leg. They're rare. It's just not really going to be a thing most people are going to have any kind of access to. So most guns on the market are handguns and they're semi-automatic. Now, the festival in California had plenty of security. There were armed guards everywhere, police all over the place. Security was pretty tight, but at the same time, it was kind of lax because the guy was able to evade the security measures at the entrance and go through a creek and cut through a fence. That's how he was able to get into the festival and start shooting indiscriminately. There's no evidence that he was trying to target anybody specifically, and I don't think that was the case. People were running and hiding. He killed 2 children and just a random person. There's been no correlation between those that he killed and himself. So I'm thinking that it was all random acts. People are saying that, oh, we need more gun control all over the nation because that wouldn't have happened. But what if everybody was allowed to have guns? Because at this festival, there were no guns allowed, no guns permitted. What if I have a gun on me? Like, let's say I'm a parent, right? And I got my kids with me. And here comes this guy with a gun shooting randomly. I'm going to pull out instantly, shoot him, and I'm going to kill him. Despite there being so many guards that were around, they could not stop the first victims from being shot and or being shot and killed. It takes a little bit of time. And a minute, 45 seconds could be an eternity when somebody's shooting indiscriminately and hitting anybody they can find. Okay? So maybe if you had open carry, concealed carry be legal in that particular part of California, and especially in that venue, this tragedy could have been avoided. Maybe, just maybe, but we'll move on. Now, the media pounced on this. It was a big story. It's still a big story right now, but they're not talking about a shooting that happened at the same time in a different place, a different part of the country. There was a shooting in Brownsville, Brooklyn at the Old Timers Day. I don't know if it was a parade, a day party, or whatever the case may be, but it's an annual event. And by the way, from what I've been hearing from guys that live in Brooklyn, they say there's always some kind of drama, always some kind of violence. Maybe not to the extent of this most recent case, but there's always a problem. But anyway, in that case, you had 12 people shot, 1 person dead. Where was the media coverage for this? Where was the mass shooting coverage for this? I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's because it was in Brownsville, Brooklyn. Now, take a wild guess about who were the people being shot and who were the shooters. You guessed it. People that look just like me. Black folks. Oh, it's not really an issue when it's black folks shooting and killing each other. That's not a mass shooting. We don't have to have this whole big national day of mourning and talking about gun control. That's just normal ghetto violence, right? Although 12 people got shot, women, old people, kids, whatever. Everybody getting shot, but it's not really an issue, right? Okay. Now, I'm willing to bet that it was not semi-automatic rifle involved, probably was a handgun, which is the case in normal shootings that happen, whether it be murder, attempted murder, grazing, self-defense, whatever the case may be. It's usually a handgun involved. Most people are not going to carry around a big rifle on their back randomly. You know, in these situations when you have a lot of people get shot, it's usually something you can conceal pretty easily, and that'd be a handgun. And that was the case in Brooklyn. But for some reason, that case is totally ignored by the media. And that case I mentioned in Brooklyn can be seen all over inner city America. Okay. They want to push it under the rug. They want to say, oh no, Brownsville is beautiful. Come on out here, gentrify, walk your dog, all that. Meanwhile, the shooting is still happening. The violence is still happening. It's the same thing in Baltimore. They want to say, oh, you know, it's not rat infested, rodent infested, drug infested, gun infested, gang infested. They don't want to say that. They want to act like Trump is a liar and the racists are pointing out clear and obvious truths. Just like if you were to talk about the Brownsville situation and the Gilroy incident, he may be accused of trying to deflect and trying to be racist. How is it a deflection? How is it trying to be racist? If you're going to talk about mass shootings, let's talk about mass shootings. 12 people injured in Brownsville, 12 people injured in Gilroy. The difference is that you had 2 more people die in California than Brownsville, but still, it's a very similar situation. Okay, people having a get together, having a party, having an event, having a festival, and then it gets interrupted by gunfire. Same case, but different ways handled by the media, because you have a person that appears to be light skinned, or maybe light skinned, or maybe in a majority white or predominantly white area. The narrative is just different. Okay. Some of these shootings happen and they get pushed to the side and just dismissed right away. There's not a white supremacist to blame. There is not some kind of boogeyman to blame. There's not a gun control issue to push. That's what happened in Brownsville versus Gilroy. And I think it's pretty obvious at this point what the media are trying to do. They're trying to talk about guns in a negative way to take them away from you. I don't know why they would do that. But then again, it does make sense when a lot of these Democratic presidential candidates want to have communism come into place. And what better way to control people than those who are unarmed and cannot defend themselves? So that's pretty much all I got. What say you? Do you think the situation in California could have been avoided if people were allowed to have guns in the facility? If that's your viewpoint, let me know why in the comments below. Or is it a case of guns needed to be banned altogether? If we just ban all guns, then all the crime will go away. How about the Brownsville situation? Why is that not being talked about by the media? I mean, it seems pretty similar to me. You know, the suspects not being trotted around as a white supremacist. They're not digging into social media and figuring out what he was reading, all that kind of. They want to ignore that totally, but focus all their energy on Gilroy, although they happen at the same time or they're about, you know, very close to each other and very close proximity to each other time-wise. One is being talked about all the time, constantly. The other totally ignored. I wonder why. Whatever your comments are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.